RTB 101, where we discuss practical questions to equip you to share your faith more effectively. And here to help me talk about an exciting question, at least I think it's exciting, is one of our staff scholars, Kenneth Samples. Welcome, Ken.
Hi, Krista.
Glad to have you here and to talk about mystery versus contradiction. And I remember when I was just a wee lad back in seminary, learning about the doctrine of the Trinity. That was terribly confusing for me in the beginning because I just kept thinking, how can God be both one and three? That makes no sense. So I think this is a helpful way of thinking about this. So I'm hoping you can help step us through these differences. So let's start with contradiction. What is a contradiction?
So the law of non-contradiction says that two statements that negate or deny one another cannot both be true. So a contradiction would be Ken Samples is a human being and Ken Samples is not a human being. Those statements negate or deny. They can't both be true at the same time and in the same respect. And all contradictions, true contradictions, are false.
Okay, so a contradiction is a very clear, like, this can't be true at the same time and in the same way as this other statement is true.
Yeah, I use the expression not both true.
Okay, not both true. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I think about the issue of the question of the contradiction of the Trinity, I'm wondering, is that a contradiction in the technical sense as you've defined it?
Well, the Trinity, of course, is a mystery, and a mystery would be a truth of divine revelation that human beings cannot fully comprehend or exhaustively understand. But technically, the Trinity is not a contradiction. I mean, if we said God is one and not one, three and not three, then we would have the negation. But in Christian councils, in the creeds, in Christian understanding, we affirm that God is one in essence or being, but three in subsistence or personhood. So God is one in a different way than God is three. God is three in a different way than he is one. So there isn't that negation. So the Trinity is very mysterious. We're not fully sure exactly how God pulls this off, but it can be framed in a way that is not a formal contradiction.
So a contradiction might be if I said I believed in one God and three gods. Those two can't both exist. But
yes.
Okay, but if I say I believe in one God, but they are in three persons,
right?
Like three who's, that's not a contradiction because those are not the same types of things. Am I on the right track there?
You're absolutely on the right track. We say that there's only one God, one divine being, but that one divine being exists as three persons or three who's. So again, it eludes the contradiction because it's different in a different category, not in the same respect.
So would this also have some carryover into the question of Jesus being like fully God and fully human? Is that a contradiction? What's going on there?
Yeah, now with the incarnation, so God coming in the flesh, the second person of the Trinity taking a human nature, with regard to the incarnation, we have two whats and one who. That is, Jesus is a single person, but he has a divine nature that he shares with the Father and the Spirit, and he has a human nature that he took in the womb of the Virgin Mary. Yet again, the divine nature doesn't divinize the humanity, and the humanity does not drag down the divinity. They don't mix, they don't overlap, they're distinct. Now again, this is a very mysterious truth, but it can be stated in a way that is not a formal logical contradiction.
Okay. So now we've used the word mystery a couple of times already. It's not the Trinity is not a contradiction, it's a mystery. The incarnation is not a contradiction, it's a mystery. So let's unpack this word mystery a little bit more and what that means in the historic Christian faith.
Yeah, a mystery is a truth of divine revelation but it is a truth that eludes our ability to totally understand it. So this is something God has revealed about himself. And it's not just when we come to the Trinity or the incarnation, Krista. Everything God reveals about himself is a mystery because he's infinite, we're finite. He's eternal, we're temporal. So when we say a mystery, we don't mean something that's confused and wrong. We mean something that eludes our finite capacity to totally comprehend. And yet it is a truth that God's revealed about himself.
That's really helpful because I'm imagining that when we talk to our non-Christian friends, when we use the word mystery, if we don't use it properly and define it, and I love how you always define your terms, it can kind of sound like an escape hatch, like we're just inserting mystery as a way to get away from really thinking things through. It's sort of intellectual laziness. But that's not really what we mean. We're talking about that, there's some things we can kind of explain in this temporal realm, but then there's a bit of a recognition that God transcends the temporal realm. He's beyond the temporal realm. So some things can be true of him that don't fit into our kind of three-dimensional space-time continuum.
That's exactly right. I mean, if I could understand God, he would not be much of a God. And so humanity, we are finite, we have limitations, we have boundaries. God is going to reveal himself. Now, things can be mysterious. Some mysterious things are contradictory, but a Christian doctrinal mystery, it can't be fully comprehended, but it is not a formal logical contradiction. So Christian truth goes beyond human reason, but it doesn't do any damage to human reason.
That's a very important distinction. Thank you for unpacking that for us, Ken. And I want to encourage people, if you haven't yet discovered Ken's wonderful blog, Reflections, just go to reasons.org and search for Reflections. Thanks for joining me, Ken. This has been a great conversation. Hopefully it's helped equip some of you to share your faith with more courage and confidence and compassion.